brought y'all here today is to explain the difference between the military life and the civilian life, why you should choose the military life over the civilian life, the differences back and forth, right? Pretty much what I'm going to do is describe some of the benefits that the military can offer you that the civilian sector can't. I'll also describe some of the good parts about the civilian sector as well. Here's an easy way to think about something though. One day you walk up, some guy walks up to you, he tells you that you made a dramatic impact on his life. You personally have changed his life. It's just based on the things you've done, the training that you did, taking him in and out of the combat zone, that was part of what you've done. Normal day-to-day basis, just training that soldier or that Marine or whatever that is. Right? Those impacts can't happen in the civilian world the same way because everybody has their personal lives, they're involved in their own thing. In the military, you have that aspect of changing someone's life because you deal with them on a day-to-day basis, 24/7, no matter what. A lot of people understand that the U.S. military is a stepping stone for for other jobs. So a lot of people get in, they use them for what it's for, they do their 5 years, their 3 years, or whatever the case is, and they get out and they take that training elsewhere. What about those people that do want to stay inside of it? What about those people that do decide to make it a career? They do want to stay in the United States military and help their fellow man. Right? Before we go further, what I want to do is just describe some of the options that the United States Army or the United States military as a whole can provide you. Before we go further, what I'll do is tell you the different branches. Okay, everybody understands that the Army, of course, the best there is. The Army comes first, followed by the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Navy, and then bringing up the rear is the Coast Guard. The big thing, the difference between all the branches, I can sit here all day and explain the differences to you. Okay, everybody understands why the Army was formed. It was to defend the nation against the British, so we can have our freedoms. Right? The Marine Corps formed in a little cabin. Started by a small group of men to do the same thing, defend the liberty that America was designed on. The Navy was designed for. You got your Marine Corps and the Coast Guard. Right? The Coast Guard is the only one that doesn't fall, that we don't work hand in hand with when we do any outside wartime or peacetime missions. They don't fall under the Secretary of Defense. They can during a wartime situation, but for the most part, they fall under Homeland Security. Their main focus is to secure the coast, drug bust, and things of that nature. There's two types of ways that you can come, two primary types of ways that you can join the United States military. The first one is to enlist, and the enlisted soldier was voted as the number one stressful job in the United States this year. Okay, the enlisted soldier is when you sign that contract for 3 to 5 years, whatever the situation is. You join up and you start at the rank, normally at E1, progress from there. Right, and the other RAM that you can join the military in is going to be the officer side. When you come in, you start as a second lieutenant primarily, and you proceed from there. There's a pay difference between the enlisted side and the enlisted side that we will go over here shortly. As put out by DFAS, which is the Defense Finance and Accounting Services, the pay scale for the United States military's E1 through roughly E3 is roughly around $1,699. That's $1,699 to around $1,790 a month. Okay, that's that base pay, and roughly the base pay, as stated by DFAS, for a second lieutenant is going to start at $2,876, and that is very comparable to what the Army also has, which is called a warrant officer. They usually specialize in a specific field. The warrant officer's base pay is comparable to a second lieutenant. Right? There's also multiple ways that you can join. Right now, what I'll do is stick primarily to the Army itself. In the Army, you can join in 3 main ways. You can join active duty. That's you being a soldier 24/7, 365 days. All right. The other option is to join the National Guard. The National Guard is actually the oldest branch of the military. They were the first that were there, and you can join that, which will put you in a position to do your time. You got to do your guard duties. And also, in case your state has some kind of dramatic incident, you will go and assist that state, the state of your home of record, in those services. For instance, a wildfire or a tornado, whatever the case is. Last but not least, of course, you have the reserve component. The reserve component is still considered a federal job. However, you only have to do your 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year. Okay. Pay scale is still comparable. However, it's It's completely different since you don't do it 24/7. Moving on to education and training, the biggest thing that the Army offers you is the the GI Bill. One of the big things about the military GI Bill is that it will pay either aid during the military service or following the military service. There's one big change coming out in October of 2013, that the GI Bill will no longer be transferable unless you do a specific amount of time. That amount of time is going to be 6 years minimum in the military, and no matter what time you have left in the military, you have to add an additional 4 years to your contract in order to push that over to your peers, or your spouses or your kids. Right? And of course, on-the-job training. Basic training itself can be used as college credits. Right? You go over a number of different things, starting at discipline to how to wake up in the morning on time, how to get to a certain location, punctuality, and just a bunch of different things. Basic training will teach you alone that will set you apart from your peers in the civilian sector. Okay, you go and apply for a job in the police department, they don't teach you how to wake up. They don't teach you how to put on your uniform, things like that. Moving on. As far as the training goes, last but not least, you also train for one specific goal, which is to fight and win the nation's wars. So everybody, no matter what your job is, if you are a dental specialist, if you're a military police officer, if you're infantryman, whatever the case is, you're all going to be proficient on the same things, which is going to be weapons and skill level 1 tasks, basic tasks that every soldier needs to know how to do, right? To include first aid and things of that nature. So you'll be a very well-rounded employee for the United States military. Now, to talk about a specific job field in the Army or in the military, what I'm going to do is talk about the Military Police Corps. Our main focus is, of course, law enforcement, the security of military personnel and equipment. Right? We get to interact with different law enforcement agencies throughout the world, to include the FBI, CIA, Homeland Security, and that's just here in the United States here. That's just in the United States of America. Following that, you can also transition to other areas such as international relations. For instance, here in Germany, we work with the Polizei hand in hand, and we also work with the German Army. All right? You get to train with multiple police departments. When you deploy, you get to train with the Afghani police, the Iraqi police, or wherever you are located, as far as military police-wise. Right? You also continue to deploy, and in deployment, you still support, once again, the law enforcement and that national Army's operations. And of course, the biggest thing that everybody loves is the fact that you get to travel. As it stands right now, the Army allows you to go to multiple different places, to include Germany, Korea, Japan, Australia, actually, Cuba, and so on and so forth. So that's a benefit. As far as the police officer goes in the civilian sector, the police officer's main job, is, of course, similar to the military police, is to protect and serve the population. Okay, the one thing that doesn't equal out to the military is that you have to protect and serve in your local area. 9 times out of 10, if you live in the California area, you're going to be a police officer somewhere in the California area. All right? Most of us come from different backgrounds, different locations. We all come to a different location, still do police enforcement, and then proceed to another location after about 2 or 3 years. And local law enforcement, you don't get that option. Right? Also, as far as the danger in the job, the danger is the same. The one benefit I want to take from a movie, Jack Reacher, he said the difference between my job and yours is that everybody's a trained killer. All right. And in the civilian sector, as far as being a law enforcement, it does open you to other options as well. You can also apply for secondary jobs such as security guard, a bouncer at a club, or whatever the case is. You can still apply for secondary jobs to assist you in that in that civilian sector law enforcement position. And one thing that is similar across the board through the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, everything, and to include civilian law enforcement or whatever job you find, is that it's a brotherhood or a quote-unquote fraternity. Everybody works together towards the common goal, which is, of course, protecting and serving. If it's not the nation, it's the local area. Okay. To compare and contrast some things real quick, some pay and incentives. The pay scale that is stated from the Los Angeles Police Department's website says that they start off at $47,042 a year. That's base pay. Right? The United States Army, roughly at the level I am, E5, and with 4 years' time in service, is roughly about $2,529 a month. All right, so the pay is a little off. The benefits of the military is that they give you basic housing or basic allowance for housing. That covers you pretty much. That covers your rent. All right. They also give you BAS. For the military police corps, they give you BAS, which also sustains food and a little bit of extra bill money that you may need, okay? And those amounts of money are not taxable. In the civilian sector, they are taxable. So that's something to keep in mind as well. The vacation days differ depending on the location. What I can talk about is the military vacation days, which ends up being roughly at 30 days a year. 30 days of paid vacation a year. That is a plus in itself. I don't think anyone has complaints about that. Overall, when it comes down to it, it's a personal choice. If you want to be in the military and stay and make it a career, or if you want to take your time, get out, and become a civilian and do whatever your job is. The military will provide you with plenty of other incentives that will counteract that pay, like I discussed a second ago. What comes with the military transcends over the dollar amount or a pay scale. Right? With it comes the honor and respect of a grateful nation. So always remember that no matter what, at the end of the day, we're all in it for the same thing. If you want to stay in, stay in. If not, by all means, do what you have to do. All right? Hey, thank you so much.